Why, hello there, people. This is Eldrad Wolfsbane. I have been wanting to do this for quite a while. The compendium, the Delving Deeper Reference Rules Compendium. Okay, let's get into this. Simon J. Bull. With special thanks by Cameron Dubiers, John Adams, David Macaulay, Marv Brigg, Matthew Finch, and members of the Odd 74 discussion group. I was kind of a hanger-on out there with the Odd 74 group as this thing was being developed back in, 2012, I believe? Anyway, version 4B is the most stable version. They are currently, much to my excitement, working on version 5. But we're going to go over the one that's out there. So, nice little table of contents, completely well done book here. Well, let's go back here. Introduction, player characters, extremely simple, original edition. And what this is a Retroclone, for the most part, of the original edition. Just the 3 original books. It is pure primordial gaming. So, get your player characters, non-player characters, magic, delving exploration section, setting up the campaign, creating a world, creating a dungeon, and underworld exploration, and the combat rules. Then wilderness exploration. This is where this game distills what the original game can do. It can basically create your hex map for you, make your campaign map for you. Don't draw a campaign map. Let the dice help you out and influence it. Seafaring exploration, aerial exploration, the campaign, and things of the sort. And then monsters and treasure. Summary of monsters, explanation, treasure types, explanation of treasures, and afterward. So let's go to section 1, heroes and magic, right here. Basically talks about the history of how original D&D came about. Then it starts to go to the common terms. As you can see, heroic types with 3 or more hit dice but fewer than 7. Man types, which and such. Monsters, morale check. Very neat thing there. Normal missiles, normal types. Basically, collectively are creatures with fewer than 3 hit dice. This is a very cool distillation of the original rules here. Normal weapons. One thing that I have seen people in shock and gasping awe that all the weapons just do 1d6 damage. Sometimes there's a little bit more of with the monsters. So, superheroic types, all creatures with 7 or more hit dice. Survival check, if you get polymorphed or restored flesh being turns from stone and such. And then turns. And combat scales of turns. A combat round lasts 1 minute in this game, and a exploration turn lasts 10 minutes. And wilderness exploration scale, it represents 1 day. So, this applies. Preparation for play. Here's where it gets pretty cool. The ability rank are strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma. The old order of things. And on this you roll 3d6 in order. And that's all you need to do. 3d6 in order 6 times. Hold on a second. Sorry, had a German Shepherd trying to visit me. And go with it. The attributes don't do that much. Strength, for instance, 15 or higher tends to be, give you a +1 to damage in hand-to-hand combat, and all the blow gives you nothing. Opening doors, you can see the chances there, how much weight you can carry, depending on your movement rate and such. But let's see, prerequisites. For instance, a fighter They'll have strength as a prime requisite. If they have 13 to 15, they get plus 5% experience, and 16 to 18 plus 10. This indirectly actually allowed the strength to allow them to hit better, because it made their, for instance, a fighter's to hit go up faster by 5 and 10% respectively. So also intelligence. Now back in the day, from 3 to 10, 2 languages. From 11 on higher, you got more and more languages. People in the primordial world that especially of intelligent types that were educated, they spoke more languages. Most people speak their common tongue and their alignment language. And then they get the additional languages and such. Or, no, you get your 2, and then the first 2, and then from there on you get additional languages. Unless you're some non-human character like an elf, will have a whole bunch of extra languages. Wisdom. It can be used as a... any points beyond 10 will add 1 point to the character's prime requisite for the purpose of calculating experience. It's also high wisdom for clerics. Dexterity is your speed and such. Doesn't really affect armor class in this version. If you do individual initiative, 15 or higher gives you +1. And 3 to 6 gives you -1. It does affect missile combat. Now missile combat in this game, most of it is already at +2. And if you have a high dexterity, you can have +3 to hit. It's pretty cool. Constitution is like it was, your vim and vigor, 15 to 18. And 3 to 6 gives you -1, +1. And minimum of 1 hit point per dice. And this is your survival shock if you went through some kind of flesh being turned into stone and surviving in another shape and stuff like that. You could die from that. Charisma is your charm, social influence. Maximum number of retainers, loyalty, and reaction adjustments. Now you have your classes. Cleric spells. Clerics don't get spells until 2nd level, like the olden days. And also the old XP is 100 experience points per each hit die of enemy defeated. Advancement went a little bit faster back in the day. The cleric, and they also use 1d6 for hit dice, but here's their saving throws, the amount of experience needed. They must be law or chaos. You can't be neutral. For the eternal struggle. The lawful types are... Golly, why am I yawning when I haven't been doing this for hours? Their purpose is to vanquish evil, turn undead. See, they can turn undead on this sheet right here. In this version of the game, like the original, clerics had a spell book, or we would call it their holy book, with all their first level spells, and they have to pick up spells like a wizard would do. Rather strange. That was a rule that, I mean, if you play this game, rules is written as it is, and until you'll play it for a while before you decide to alter it. Then there's the anti-cleric, who's the chaotic sort. There's 3 alignments: lawful, neutral, and chaotic, in the original style of role-playing. So, the fighter. Now, fighters, they can wear any armor or shields. Oh yeah, about them. They can own the cleric, as we all know. They can use any weapons, but it can only use dull weapons and sort. So, no using of cutting or piercing or edged weapons of any sort. So that leaves them every other weapon. Then there's the fighter, who can use all weapons and all armor. Now here's some differences in melee combat versus normal types. They can, remember the definition of normal types: anything under 3 hit dice or less. Say they're 4th level, they can attack 4 times in a round against anything with 3 or lesser hit dice. More powerful monsters, they get to use their single attack. Starting at 4th level, also they add +1 morale check to any of the troops he leads in combat, and will not be targeted by normal types while there are normal targets available. So basically, he becomes a main character while the rest of the people are just really NPCs. At 8th level and above, the fighter is aware of invisible opponents within 3 inches, which is 30 feet. And normal types require a positive morale check to stand their ground if he charges them. He's unable to cast spells and has a limited selection of magic item. When he reaches 9th level, get the stronghold and declare himself a lord. And he can basically, you move up to nobility. Let's go back to the cleric again. 9th level, they can establish a stronghold. A religious fervor workforce reduces any construction cost by half. Gosh darn it, and 50 to 300 fanatical loyal dervishes will serve. Okay, for instance. Okay, so then you have a magic user. Don't really have that many hit points and such, but once they reach 9th level, they can should be able to enchant things of their own. And we would also say they could do them themselves a wizard's tower at 9th level. It's not here in the rules, but also halflings are limited to fighters of 4th level. Deadly accuracy with +3 to their missile attack rolls. So if they're within close range and they have high dexterity, that could be +6 to hit. That's crazy for this game. This game is extremely low on the such. They can hear listening door at 5/6. And they make saving throws 4 levels higher because they're just small and hard to hit. And you got the dwarf, can be up to a fighter up to 6th level, but also makes saving throws at 4 levels or higher. They can also detect stonework and such. Then elves can start as either fighters or magic users. The old multi-class rules you're used to are not there, and they cannot wear armor while casting spells, but unless it's magic armor or elven chain. So most elven characters will be making sure that they try to get themselves some magic armor or elven chain. Then they bring in the optional thief class. All the classes can pretty much do it unlimited. They can only use daggers, slings, and short swords. So the thief with the short bow is not there anymore. It's just a sling. And they can only wear leather armor. And they can strike from behind at +4. And 2d6 damage, 1st through 4th, 4 at 5 through 10, and 6. So that damage jumps up there. Also, they have their thief skills, which here's where some stuff is different, and this is kind of nice. Opening locks, disarming traps, climbing sure surfaces, identifying noises, stealing concealed items by sleight of hand, moving stealthy, hiding nothing more than shadows, or finding a secret or hidden door. They do it 3, 4, 5, and 6 on a d6. And it stays that way from 1st level to 9th level. So at 3rd level, they can discern meaning of non-magical ciphering message or map or other written instructions. And at 9th level above, they can extends to casting magic user spells from scrolls. If you're going to change a class, have a minimum 16 in that prime requisite. It's boring. Don't change classes. Heck, unless, it's something in the story. Thief progression. A short level equipment, and here's the other magic. 3d6 times 10. You have 30 to 180 gold pieces. Buy your simple stuff. There's your armor, your weapons, and your gold pieces. Now, some people say, if all the damage does the same, I'll just buy a dagger, and save money. Well, game masters have to make your character be made fun of. That's all you got's a dagger, and you're supposed to be a fighter, Non-playing characters, mercenaries, footmen, and such. Enlisting monsters, morale check. Cost of upkeep is 1 gold piece per 100 experience points the character has. That can get pretty expensive, huh? Magic. Here's your little spell list. Not your standard spell list, because look how short it is. This is how it was back in 1974. This is these right here spells can be reversed for anti-clerics. Magic user, look. Not that many spells, but what's there is pretty cool. Notice no magic missile. You had charm person, color spray, and sleep. That was your main, super offensive spells. Here's explanation of spells. We get to delving exploration. See how fast we've got to this section already? Section 2. The book is very short. Nice artwork, by the way. Preparation for the campaign. Basically tells you how to create a world. The hexes should be 6 miles on the map, and I think on a clear road you can move 2 hexes, I believe. And then start a play suggests that you have the town of 1,000 to 6,000 people, or villages of 100 to 400 people, are strongholds occupied by bodies of 30 to 180. So you could make a keep on some kind of Borderlands or something, or use that map. Legends and rumors of the place, you want to kind of start that out, but if you're running one of these games, keep it small. Angry villagers rule, try not to cause too much trouble, the villagers will come for you. Hireling and retainer loyalty, it's always something that, you got your loyalty score for each NPC. And then here's explanation of dice and creating a dungeon. Pretty cool here. The 2d12 has that curve, so this is how you fill your rooms. You can just do it yourself, or you can use this very simple process right here. Now, one thing pretty dangerous is that you roll a 1d6. If you roll a 5 or 6, your second and third level monsters for first level characters that are already extremely weak. Also, there's rules for tricks and traps and sorts. Then there's dungeon encounter tables. That kind of gives you an idea what you can use. Tables 1, 2, and 3. And you can see, roll a 6. Level 3, you could have stuff like adult dragons, giant spiders, were-tigers, were-boars. That may have been rolled up in one of the dungeons I've screwing around with this set of rules. Beware. More explanation of tricks and traps. The dungeon levels get even higher and more dangerous. Treasures guarded by monsters, treasure guarded by traps, unguarded treasure, and such. Then underworld exploration. Talks about the light, like torches and stuff, listening doors, secret doors, rest, wandering monsters, surprise. This is much like the game that we've been playing, but it's simple, primordial. Then here's your simple combat rules. Left somewhat vague so you can do what you want. Attack matrix, see how short it is, and the parrying rule is pretty cool. A defender can forego his attack and parry, causing the opponent to suffer a -4 attack penalty. Should the opponent miss because of this -4 penalty, the defender's weapon will be dashed from the grasp by a heavier weapon. So if you're trying to defend with a dagger, you may make them miss, but they may also knock the weapon out of your hand. On the other hand, if his opponent misses, regardless of this penalty, the defender is allowed a counterattack if equipped with a lighter weapon. So if you have that dagger and you try to parry and you succeed and they don't miss because of the -4 and they don't knock the weapon out of your hand, you get a free attack at them. Damage usually is caused 1d6. Some people shudder and scream on this. Get over it. Just play it. It's narrative damage, not actual, Set spears receive a charge, and charging lancers will cause 2d12. If multiple attack rolls used versus normal types, each hit causes exactly 1d6 damage. And remember, a normal human has 1 to 6 hit points. So if you're reduced to 0 hit points or fewer, you are slain. 0 hit points is death. So you can attack, subdue, overbearing, missile fire. As you can see, like a halfling with high dexterity would in short range would have a +6 to hit. That's awesome, dude. That's scary. Halflings are terrifying. Morale checks. See how the battle's going. Here's very simple adjustments for morale checks. Healing. Check this out. 1 hit point is regained for every 2 days of complete rest with no other productive activity you can undertake. In other words, you take a long time to heal in this game, so watch yourself. You also have the Nido jousting rules, shooting, mounting men, and such. Saving throws. Then here comes the real magic. Saving throws, and then saving throws are magic items. Then the really magic here is the wilderness exploration. This can literally create a map for you. Like I said, if you play this, play it like it is. Visibility, what's your movement rate, and such. Then random wilderness features. And then the weather, becoming lost, strongholds and such. Describes, normally stronghold's going to have a really high level fighter or some kind of NPC or something like that. Could be an anti-cleric, a magic user, a fighter, magic user, cleric, Notice that they leave the lawful characters to be made for the lawful the chaotic types to be left for the dungeon or the game master, the referee, to make. So the lawful ones are made by the player-friendly, if there is such a thing, lords and such. Fords is where you can cross the river. So sometimes a river can cut a map in half. Settlements, and then here's the scary thing: wilderness encounters. Look how powerful some of these monsters are. Wildernesses are extremely dangerous. You'll notice with the encounter charts that it kind of gives the game this primordial feeling of, there'll be, with such a small selection of monsters, there will be a repeat of types of monsters and such. It gives the game this primordial Dark Age, Iron Age feeling of a fantasy world. Invasion and pursuit, surprise, low visibility, speed, seafaring exploration. We'll go over that pretty quickly. Just basically, you can get on ships, and then here's the seafaring encounter tables. Very dangerous if you, in aerial exploration, the campaign, specialist hirelings, and such. Constructing a stronghold. While they have constructing a stronghold in the cost, they don't actually have the hits and stuff for that. That'd be an interesting rule for someone to add what the hit points of each one of these are. So, mass battles, artifacts. On the mass battles, they suggest to use other people's versions of mass battle that will be compatible with this. Chainmail being one obvious. The Bellus Fantasia, however you say that. Here Be Dragons, and the Book of War, 2011. Might have to pick up some of those. I don't know. But anyway, talks about artifacts that don't quite follow the rules of regular magic items. Enchanting magic items. Clerics, magic users of 9th level or higher. This game does not give you anything. You have to fight for every single XP. And magic items, you have to get up to 9th level to start making them. So, one thing about it though, monsters and treasure. Monsters here are pretty darn deadly. With the simplicity of the way the system works, you really don't have too much of a problem with running this. It's extremely easy to run. These number appearing though, this can be real deadly. In layer and if they're wanting through a dungeon or in layer. So here's the summary of the monsters, and then here is a explanation of the monsters. They have all that going on there. Notice they have sci-fi elements like androids and cyborgs and stuff. Kind of cool in that respect because the old 1970s fantasy novels that would sometimes have sci-fi mixed with it. Is it an ancient world from a Stone Age, or is it an ancient world recovering from a future that got destroyed? The rules on the dragons, they just have the chromatics here. If you wanted to, you can make up the other dragons by just looking at the old rules and see what you have there. Isn't this cool though? Elementals, Gothrogs, which are by another name, the big fiery demon things, extremely dangerous. But as you see, this is a complete book in itself, a complete game with a certain feeling to it, an ancient primordial fantasy feeling. I would really suggest to, if you play this, play it like the rules are stated. Don't try to change much of anything, and play it like it is. Another thing about the strangeness of old school is that although the chances are low to get magic items, not as low as other versions, it doesn't seem. Magic items don't really have a like you could possibly at first level get a super high level magic item, and it could be pretty interesting. Notice that nothing really goes over +3 here, So, short list of potions, rings, spell books and scrolls and things, curses, staves and wands, magic swords. Now, magic swords in the olden game and some of the new ones have personalities and stuff, and they can take you over, and they can have their own alignments. It's all very interesting. If a magic sword has got all that, it's another character, basically. Also, don't handle a sword that's not your alignment. But all the powers of that. Basically, nice, simple set of rules, perfection. So, my suggestion is definitely go out and download this for free. The Delving Deeper Reference Rules Compendium version 4B is now on Lulu.com. It took them forever to update it. But as soon as they did, because that's what I was waiting to do, I ordered myself 2 copies. It's a neat little compact book, and you can't beat it. It's really incredible. Anyway, this is Eldred Wolfsbane, unofficial wizard of the OSR, signing out. Hopefully my review of this, or going over this book, wasn't too terrible. I don't think I did too great tonight, but oh well. Maybe it'll get somebody to order this and play it. By the way, if you do get this, I expect you to make some little, 1-page dungeons, or 5 or 6 to 10 page little modules or something. Get your butt out there and make some stuff. This for a game master is super easy to run and super easy to create. So get out there and do that. Anyway, Eldred Wolfsbane signing out.